All right, podcast number 2. Y'all missed me. Okay, that was a total waste of 14 seconds, but, I gotta give myself some love because I can't hear you guys giving it to me, and I know you are. Anyway, so, recap, we were talking about Australia, about how she's being sanctioned for not turning over all her shit. She's gonna get fined for it. I don't think she cares. She lied and said she turned it all over and blamed it on her lawyers. Whatever. So, I think it was yesterday in the trial, because today court is not in session. They had a couple people on there saying Johnny Depp didn't change when he was on drugs. He didn't change that much. He was still the same person, probably because he's one, like Dennis Leary said, he could probably die and we'll smoke his ashes. He's done a lot of drugs and he admits it. And so, yeah, she said she turned everything over on the stand. Boom, perjury, lie. But it's not blatant perjury, so they're not going to go after it. If it's something that's absolutely, oh my God. If she said, he kicked my cat and then ripped it apart and wore it as a scarf, but yet the cat is fine, that might warrant some perjury. And she'd probably just be looking at a fine. She wouldn't go to jail or anything. So last I left off, the UK is looking into perjury with her and I think her friend Rocky. So she said he cut off his own finger punching a antique phone. If I remember, that's what she said. Hang on, gotta hit the Red Bull. Well, so the pictures that were taken, Ben King was kind of the house manager. He took pictures of everything. There's no pictures of this antique phone. She's like, well, if you're taking the picture, it's behind you. So there's a different angle of a picture. Well, if you take that picture, it's to the left of you. There's no pieces of scattered phone anywhere. She said he cut off his finger punching this phone. Well, if you're punching, you're using your knuckles. I mean, that's how most people punch. I don't know where you get the cut off the tip of your finger from that. I'm sure it could be done. But her sister came back and said a bottle. She said, well, my sister told me he cut his finger off of the bottle. Okay, which is it? Ladies, get your story straight, because that someone's lying. I'm pretty sure this bitch cut off his fucking finger. Whether it was an accident or on purpose, I don't give a shit. I'm sure she cut his fucking finger off. And the pictures, like I said, taken by Ben King, show no evidence of the phone pieces on the floor. She said it was, quote unquote, smashed to smithereens. Wouldn't there be pieces? I mean, I saw pieces of bottles and I didn't see any piece of any phone. And the only landline I saw was like kind of one of those office phones. And so she comes back, whatever. And no one except her friends see this bruise on her face. Supposedly she has this big ass bruise on her face. She does her makeup and she got a split lip. She does her makeup. No one can tell there's bruises. I've had a split lip. Now she said it was to the point, quote unquote, she felt like her tooth went through her lip. Number one, why don't you go to a dentist to make sure your tooth didn't wiggle loose or something? You're an actress, you need your face. But if you've ever tried to put on lip gloss or lipstick through a split lip, not just like layers of skin taken off, but like an actual split lip, number one, it takes forever to stop bleeding. And it would burn so bad, and it would sink into that split. and it would wear off through that split as I'm touching my lips, like you guys can see me. And it wouldn't, no. Split lips are completely different than you biting your lip and just tearing a little bit of skin off, which is look like what she did, because if you watch her during court, she bites her lips a lot. And it might have been something she did out of anger, like she bit really hard. Like, again, I did that so you guys can't see me. So yeah, no one except her friend saw these bruises, okay? So they interviewed the cops. Cops said no injury, and this is now back in LA. Cops were called twice, and they say they saw no injury on her and no broken glass or no sign of a struggle, nothing like that. So they asked her on the stand, why didn't the cops say that you had any injury? She turned to the jury and with all seriousness said, well, they didn't consider it an injury. No. That's not what they said. They said you had no visible injuries. None. And there was nothing wrong with the place. There's even body cam footage. The place looks immaculate. Just fine. So, why clean up? Like, did you clean it up? Like, why would you clean it up? Like I said, there's been domestic people, cops were called, but they don't cooperate. But people saw her face to face, a couple feet away from her. No injuries on her face. Not they didn't consider it an injury. It was you didn't have any visible injuries on your face or on your body. So did they clean up this whole mess that was supposedly made? A really good cleaning job. And with the whole shit on the bed, let's go there. I know I'm kind of jumping timelines, but it's kind of been going on through court too. So timelines are being jumped all over the place. I'm shotgunning this. Like, big time. So she said the dogs couldn't go up and down the stairs and the dogs weren't trained. But the guy the greatest witness ever, I forget his name, the guy who was vaping and like driving and basically saying, hey man, everybody's got problems. I loved that guy. He saw a dog actually come down the stairs and he was going to go tell whoever's dog, it was one of their dogs. Dogs can go down the stairs. And if the dogs couldn't go down the stairs, how did they get on that big ass bed? And another thing is if you own a dog, you know how big of a shit they take. You just do. After a while of watching your dog go to the bathroom just to make sure that they shit or don't have diarrhea or nothing that they need to go to the vet for. Just, it's something people do. I personally don't have a dog, but I've taken care of dogs. I know what it's like. That shit on that bed was so much bigger than even the dog. There's no way that tiny little dog took a shit its body length. No, that does not happen. And if your dog is shitting and pissing all over the penthouse, who's cleaning it up? Why doesn't it smell like dog shit and piss when people go in there? If it's happening all the time. Anyway. So I think this is in San Francisco. So there's already divorce proceedings. This might have been before San Francisco. I can't remember, but there's an audio of her desperately saying, you love me. Yes, you do. You love me. And him saying, I love you, but not that much. And I think it's because of the claim she made. So he's like, listen, I love you, girl, but you're fucking crazy. And she just kept saying, yes, you do love me. And if this is San Francisco, this is at the point she's with Elon Musk. Yeah, Johnny saying, I love you, but not that much. So, yeah, both of them called each other just awful names, and it seemed to be in the audio. Why she's taking audio of this, I have no idea, because in most of the audio, she's the one fucking starting it. I don't hear him hitting her. I hear him saying, are you going to hit me again? And she's saying, you're not punched. I just hit you. You're not punched. You're just hit. You're hitting him. That's abuse. So, and the thing about when Johnny Depp was on the stand, like I said, I know we're jumping timelines. Sorry. But when he was on the stand, the only thing I can see is the jury, from what I saw, is pretty young. And he seems to have a pretty dark sense of humor. And I don't know if the jury's going to understand some of the stuff he's saying. Like he said something about Monty Python. I don't think they're going to understand any of that. I think he's at least, 20, 30 years older than most of these people. I don't think they're going to understand some of the stuff he wrote down. I don't think they're going to get it. They're going to be like, they're going to take it literal. And it's his sense of humor. And I get it. I'm almost 42 and I get the Monty Python references. I love Monty Python. So, here's another thing. And I'm going to bring it back to if Amber Heard was so scared of him and he had this 3-day hostage situation where she said he wouldn't let her leave, when the audio is completely different. It's her not letting him leave. And he is like a jealous person when it comes to other actors and stuff like that. Doesn't mean he's hitting her at all. At all. It just means he's jealous. She's jealous too. She wants to know, where are you going? And why are you leaving me? And oh God. Anyway, like I said, if she was so scared, why tease him and bait him into a fight? It seems like every recording she's trying to bait him into a fight, and it's him saying, I'm out. I'm leaving. And the whole Kate Moss thing, she said, all I could think about is my little sister being pushed down the stairs, and all I could think of was Kate Moss. Well, then she turns around and says, well, I heard a rumor about Kate Moss. So you don't know if it's true or not, but you're giving testimony that you're saying all you could think about was Kate Moss. And there's no claim to back that up, that ever happened. Now, it seems to me, like if you watched his lawyers, they were so happy that she brought up Kate Moss. Because now they can call Kate Moss as a rebuttal witness. And either that, or now they can bring in, I don't think they'll bring her ex-wife in, but they did bring in, that you assaulted your wife in the Seattle airport, right? And she said it was a misunderstanding, and she was, nothing happened. But she was arrested for domestic violence. So why is that not being brought up, since she opened the door when she said Kate Moss? That's her claiming he domestically abused someone else. Doesn't that open the door wide open? Like fucking broken open, to where they can say, you know what? You were arrested for domestic violence in an airport. All right. Hopefully we can get through one more. If not, this may have to go to 5, because I'm going to talk about something else besides all this. So we got hopefully one more to go. So we're leaving off on the Kate Moss thing and why we couldn't bring in her domestic violence thing. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, that wasn't really that funny, but I'll be back.